showing up to a fancy restaurant, heart-pounding, dressed in your best shirt that's still a bit too worn at the edges. You're a janitor, scrapping by on 2 jobs, and your coworkers have set you up on this blind date with promises of a dream woman. But the table's empty. Minutes tick by like hours, your palms sweaty, doubt creeping in like shadows under the dim lights. Just as you're about to bolt, feeling like the punchline to some cruel joke, a tiny voice pipes up from behind you. "Excuse me, mister, my mommy's sorry she's late." And that's when everything flipped from utter humiliation to the sweetest revenge you'd ever taste. If you've ever been the underdog, laughed at or looked down on by people who think they're better than you, then buckle up, as this story's for you. Hit that like button if you're ready for some serious justice. Subscribe so you don't miss more tales of epic comebacks. And let's dive into one of the most satisfying revenge sagas from the depths of Reddit. Let me paint the picture for you. Our protagonist, Daniel, was 28, the kind of guy who blended into the background like dust on a windowsill. By day, he fixed leaky pipes and scrubbed toilets in a gleaming high-rise office building downtown, the kind where suits strut around like they own the world. By night, he mopped floors in a warehouse, his back aching, his hands calloused from years of thankless work. No college degree, no fancy connections, just a quiet determination to keep his head above water after his parents passed young, leaving him to fend for himself. Daniel's co-workers, a pack of smug office drones, think mid-level managers with gelled hair and fake smiles, led by Chad, the ringleader with the smirk that could curdle milk. They saw Daniel as their personal entertainment. "Hey, mop boy," Chad would sneer in the break room, his buddies chuckling as they tossed crumpled coffee cups his way. Ever get a date that doesn't involve a bucket? It stung, every time, like salt in an open wound. Daniel would clench his jaw, force a laugh, and keep scrubbing. Inside, though, a storm brewed of frustration, loneliness, that gnawing sense of being invisible, worthless in a world that valued flash over grit. One Friday, Chad cornered him in the supply closet. "Danny boy, we've got a surprise for you. Blind date tomorrow night at Willow and Piney, that swanky spot on Elm Street. She's hot, successful, way out of your league, but hey, miracles happen, right?" His eyes twinkled with malice, but Daniel's heart leapt. A date? Him? He spent his meager savings on a new shirt, ironed his pants until they shone, practiced smiles in the mirror. "Maybe this is it," he thought, his chest tight with hope. "Maybe someone sees me." Saturday evening rolls in, rain pattering against the restaurant windows like hesitant applause. Willow and Pine smelled of garlic and fresh bread, chandeliers casting golden glows on linen tablecloths. Daniel sat at the reserved table, fidgeting with his napkin, watching couples laugh and clink glasses. 5 minutes late, 10:15. His phone stayed silent, and no texts, no calls. Sweat beaded on his forehead, his stomach twisted into knots. "Stood up," the voice in his head whispered. "Of course, who'd want you?" He scanned the room, spotting Chad and his crew at a corner booth, whispering and glancing his way. Their grins confirmed this was a setup, a prank to watch the janitor squirm. Just as Daniel pushed back his chair, ready to slink out with his tail between his legs, a small figure appeared at the table's edge. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, with pigtails and a pink raincoat dripping water. She looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes, clutching a stuffed bunny. "Hi, mister, are you Daniel? My mommy's sorry she's late. She had to find parking 'cause of the rain." Her voice was soft, lisping slightly on the S's, and she climbed onto the chair opposite him without a second thought. Daniel blinked, frozen. A kid, this had to be a mistake. "But the gullah lily," she introduced herself, chatted on, unfazed. "Mommy says you're nice. Do you like pizza?" "I like pepperoni best." Her smile was gap-toothed, genuine, cutting through his confusion like sunlight. He couldn't help but smile back, his tension easing a fraction. "Yeah, kiddo, pepperoni's the way to go." "What's your bunny's name?" They talked about cartoons, favorite colors. Hers was purple, his blue, and for the first time in ages, Daniel felt seen, not pitied. But doubt nagged. Where was the date? Was this some twisted part of the joke? Then, she walked in, Gracie tall, poised, with dark hair cascading over a simple black dress that screamed quiet elegance. She rushed to the table, cheeks flushed. "I'm so sorry, Daniel. Traffic was a nightmare, and I didn't want Lily getting soaked." She scooped the girl into a hug, then met his eyes with a warm, apologetic smile. "Our friend mentioned you as said you're kind, hardworking. I hope this isn't too much of a surprise." Daniel's mind raced. A single mom? The co-workers' laughter echoed from across the room, louder now. This was the punch linear. They'd set him up with someone complicated, knowing he'd bolt or flop, but he didn't. Grace sat, and they talked, really talked, about late nights, his mopping, hers building her tech startup from scratch after her husband's death, about dreams deferred, his secret wish to start his own cleaning business, hers raising Lily while running board meetings. Lily colored on a napkin, giggling at Daniel's bad jokes. It felt right, natural, until Chad sauntered over, beer in hand, his face twisted in mock surprise. "Whoa, Danny, didn't know you were into the whole package deal." "Mommy and Mini-Me, bold choice for a floor scrubber." The table went silent. Grace's eyes narrowed, but Daniel felt the heat rise, humiliation burning his cheeks, his fists clenching under the table. "What? Cat got your tongue, janitor boy. We figured you'd run when the kid showed. Guess even rejects have standards." The restaurant hushed. Lily looked up, confused. Daniel's inner voice screamed, "Get up, leave. You're nothing to them." But Grace, she placed a hand on his arm, steady but firm, her touch like an anchor. "Excuse me," she said, voice calm but edged like a blade. "You must be the friends who set this up. How charming, a pranking you meant for doing honest work while you hide behind desks." She turned to Daniel. "My dad was a janitor, worked 2 jobs to put me through school. People like you mocked him too. But guess what? That grit built my company at Langford Tech, valued as $50 million last quarter." Gasps rippled. Chad's smirk faltered. "And Daniel, he's got more integrity in his pinky than your whole crew." "Now, if you'll excuse us, we're enjoying our evening." Chad slunk away, tail tucked, his buddies avoiding eye contact. The manager comped their meal after overhearing. Outside, under the awning, rain still falling. Grace squeezed Daniel's hand. "Don't let them define you. You're more than they see." Lily tugged his sleeve. "You're fun, Mr. Daniel. Come play sometime." That night, something ignited in him, a fire fueled by rage, yes, but also possibility. The turning point: Daniel quit the warehouse job, poured his savings into courses on business management. Grace mentored him quietly at tips on pitches, connections to suppliers. He launched Clean Horizons, a cleaning service emphasizing fair wages, eco-friendly products, and respect for workers. Short sentences for tension, word spread, contracts rolled in. Offices, hotels, then, the big O'Neill Langford Tech itself. Escalation built slow, then exploded. Chad and crew, they ignored him at first, then whispered as his vans parked outside their building. Daniel's company grew while branches in 2 states, featured in local news for revolutionizing blue-collar work. But the real plan simmered. Acquisition. With Grace's silent backing, they'd started dating, low-key, her strength bolstering his. Daniel brought the office building where it all began. The old bosses out, new management his. One crisp Monday, Daniel strode into the lobby not with a mop, but a briefcase. Chad's face drained of color as HR called them in. Effective immediately, Daniel announced, voice steady, eyes locking on each smirker, "You're reassigned. Janitorial staff, minimum wage. Learn what it's like to scrub your own messes." Chad sputtered, red-faced, "You can't, you're just a mop boy." Daniel leaned in, the ghost of a smile. "Now, I'm the owner. And this is for every laugh, every tossed cup. Get to work or get out." They chose out, tails between legs, resumes tainted by the scandal. Daniel exhaled, triumph washing over him like cool rain, a relief. Power, justice finally in his grasp. Lily, waiting outside with Grace, high-fived him. "You did it, Daddy Daniel." Stories like this remind us, karma's patient, but it hits hard. Daniel didn't just get revenge, he built a legacy on the ashes of their cruelty. If life's knocked you down, remember your comeback might be just one bold step away. What do you think it does? Justice always find its way. Phew. If that revenge gave you chills or made you pump your fist, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the best payback you've witnessed or pulled off? share this with someone who needs a boost, and subscribe for more heart-pounding Reddit revenge tales. Until next time, stay gritty, stay kind, and never let the haters win. Peace out. Stepping into a dimly lit, upscale restaurant, the kind where the air smells of expensive perfumes and sizzling steaks, your heart hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird. You've scrapped together every last dime for this blind date, convinced by your smirking coworkers that this could be your big break, a chance at something real in a life that's felt like one long grind. But as the minutes stretch into an eternity, the table across from you remains empty, mocking your hopes. Your palms grow slick with sweat, your mind races with doubts. Am I really that forgettable? Just when the humiliation threatens to swallow you whole, a small, tentative voice breaks through the chatter of silverware and laughter. "Excuse me, mister, my mommy's sorry she's late." And in that instant, what started as a cruel joke spirals into a tale of betrayal, resilience, and the kind of revenge that leaves jaws on the floor. If you've ever felt the sting of being underestimated, belittled by those who think they're untouchable, or yearn for that moment when the tables turn spectacularly, then this story will hit you right in the feels. Smash that like button if you're all about underdog victories. Subscribe to catch more of these emotionally charged Reddit revenge sagas, and let's plunge into a narrative that'll have you rooting for justice every step of the way. Let me set the scene properly, drawing you into the world of our protagonist, Daniel. At 28 years old, he was the epitome of the invisible man, the guy who fades into the wallpaper while everyone else shines under the spotlights. Picture him in the early morning haze of a bustling city high-rise, the kind with glass walls reflecting the sunrise like a mirror to ambition. Daniel wielded a mop and a bucket like extensions of his own arms, scrubbing away the remnants of corporate excess, spilled coffee stains on marble floors, crumpled memos and overflowing trash bins, fingerprints smudged on elevator buttons. His uniform was a faded blue jumpsuit, patched in places from years of wear, and his hands bore the rough, callous texture of endless labor. By day, he maintained this gleaming office tower, home to sleek firms where executives in tailored suits sparked to orders over Bluetooth headsets. By night, he clocked in at a dingy warehouse on the outskirts, pushing brooms across concrete floors under flickering fluorescent lights that buzzed like angry bees. Sleep was a luxury he snatched in 4-hour bursts. His tiny apartment a cramped haven of takeout boxes and unpaid bills stacked like accusations on the kitchen table. Daniel hadn't always been this way. Flashback to his teenage years, when life dealt him a brutal hand, his parents gone in a car accident, leaving him to navigate adulthood alone, without the safety net or a guiding voice. He dropped out of community college to work, sacrificing dreams of something more for the grim reality of survival. One day, he whispered to himself in the mirror, staring at his tired reflection, "One day I'll break free." But days blurred into years, and that whisper grew fainter, drowned out by the monotony. What kept the fire flickering, though, was a quiet pride in his work, a floors so spotless they gleamed, pipes fixed before anyone noticed the drip. He wasn't just a janitor, he was the unseen force keeping the machine running. Now, enter the antagonists, his co-workers, a clique of mid-level office workers who treated the building like their personal kingdom. At the helm was Chad, a 30-something with perfectly coiffed hair that screamed "I use too much product," a perpetual smirk that twisted his features into something predatory, and a laugh that echoed like nails on a chalkboard. Chad managed the sales team, strutting around in slim-fit shirts and loafers that clicked authoritatively on the floor as Daniel polished. Flanking him were his minions, Mark, the stocky one with the booming voice always ready with a crude joke, Lisa, sharp-tongued and quick to eye-roll, and Tyler, the yes-man who laughed hardest at Chad's barbs. They congregated in the break room, a sterile space smelling of microwaved lunches and stale coffee, where they tossed their garbage haphazardly, knowing Daniel would clean it up. "Hey, mop monkey," Chad would call out, his voice dripping with full camaraderie. "Missed a spot over there. Wouldn't want the big bosses slipping on your incompetence, right?" The others would snicker, their eyes gleaming with that mix of boredom and cruelty that comes from punching down to feel tall. It wasn't just words, it was a systematic erosion of dignity. Daniel would feel his cheeks burn, his stomach knotting as he bent to pick up their discarded wrappers, his mind screaming silent retorts, "I'm worth more than this." "One day, you'll see." But he swallowed it, every time, because jobs were scarce, and rent didn't pay itself. Inside, though, the resentment simmered, a cauldron of anger, loneliness, and that deep-seated ache of being perpetually overlooked. He had no social life to speak of. Dates were a distant memory, the last one ending in awkward silence years ago. "Who'd want a guy like me?" he'd think, lying awake at night, the city's hum mocking his isolation. Then came the setup, disguised as kindness. It was a humid Friday afternoon, the officer thick with the scent of printer ink and cooling coffee. Daniel was restacking the supply closet, shelves lined with cleaners and paper towels, when Chad burst in, his cologne overwhelming the small space. "Danny, my man," he said, slapping Daniel on the back hard enough to jolt him. "We've been talking, and we think you need to get out more. So, we've set you up on a blind date. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. sharp, at Willow and Piney, at that fancy Italian place downtown." She's a catch. Smart, gorgeous, successful. Our treat on the reservation. Chad's eyes sparkled with something Daniel mistook for genuine goodwill, but hindsight would reveal as malice. The others peeked in, grinning like hyenas. "Yeah, dude," Mark chimed in. "Time to trade that mop for some romance." "Don't screw it up." Daniel's heart soared despite the nagging doubt. A date? Him? That night, he rummaged through his closet, pulling out his best shirt, a button-down faded from washes but still presentably, and ironed it meticulously, the steam rising like hopeful dreams. He practiced conversation starters in the mirror, his reflection looking almost confident. "Hi, I'm Daniel. I work in maintenance, but I'm ambitious." He even splurged on a new tie, dipping into his emergency fund. This could change everything, he thought, his pulse quickening with a mix of excitement and terror. Maybe they see potential in me after all. Saturday arrived with a drizzle that mirrored his growing anxiety. Willow and Pine was a vision of elegance, crystal chandeliers dangling like stars, white tablecloths crisp under candlelight, the murmur of conversations blending with soft jazz from hidden speakers. The aroma of garlic bread and red wine sauce enveloped him as he entered, his shoes squeaking slightly on the polished wood floor. The hostess led him to a corner table, intimate and romantic, with a single rose in a vase. Daniel sat, straightening his tie, checking his watch every few seconds. 7 o'clock became 7:05, then 7:10. His leg bounced under the table, a nervous rhythm. "She's just running late," he told himself, but the doubt crept in like the chill from the air conditioning. 7:15. 7:20. Sweat prickled his forehead. He wiped it with a napkin, crumpling it in his fist. Across the room, he spotted Emma, Chad and his crew at a booth, pretending to dine but stealing glances, their shoulders shaking with suppressed laughter. Realization dawned, this was no kindness, it was a spectacle, a prank to watch. The janitor get stood up, to capture his humiliation for Monday's water cooler tales. The pain hit like a punch to the gut, a betrayal sharp and twisting. "How could I be so stupid?" his inner voice berated. His throat tightened, vision blurring with unshed tears of rage and shame. He pushed back his chair, ready to flee into the rain, when that small voice interrupted. "Excuse me, mister, are you Daniel?" There she was, a little girl, no more than 6, with curly pigtails tied with pink ribbons, a raincoat dotted with droplets, and big brown eyes full of curiosity. She clutched a soggy stuffed bunny, its ears flopping. "My mommy's sorry she's late. She had to park the car 'cause it's raining cats and dogs." Her lisp turned sorry into something endearing, her smile revealing a missing front tooth. Daniel froze, confusion warring with the lingering hurt. A child? This had to be part of the joke, right? But the Lily, as she soon introduced herself, climbed onto the chair opposite him with the unself-conscious grace of youth, plopping her bunny on the table. "Mommy said you're nice. Do you like animals?" "My bunny's name is Floppy. He's scared of thunder." Her words tumbled out, innocent and engaging, cutting through the fog in his mind. Daniel found himself responding, his voice shaky at first. "Yeah, Floppy looks brave to me. I like dogs. I had one as a kid named Max." They chatted about cartoons. She loved Paw Patrol. He confessed to still watching old Looney Tunes, favorite ice cream flavors, hers strawberry, his chocolate chip, and why rain made the best puddles for jumping. For the first time that evening, Daniel's shoulders relaxed, the knot in his chest loosening. Lily's laughter was like tinkling bells, genuine and infectious, making him forget the stares from across the room. But where was the mother? Minutes later, she appeared to Grace, breathless and apologetic, her dark hair slightly frizzed from the humidity, her black dress elegant yet practical, hugging her figure without ostentation. She scooped Lily into a quick hug, planting a kiss on her forehead, then turned to Daniel with the warm smile that reached her eyes. "I'm so sorry. The rain turned traffic into a nightmare, and I didn't want Lily getting drenched waiting outside." She extended a hand, her grip firm and reassuring. "Grace, our mutual friend mentioned you and said you're reliable, kind-hearted. I hope bringing my daughter isn't too overwhelming." Life as a single mom means she's part of the package. Daniel's mind reeled. A single mom? The pieces clicked. Chad's catch was meant to be a deterrent, a complication to make him bail or flounder, amplifying the prank. From the booth, snickers grew louder, confirming it. But as Grace sat, ordering juice for Lily and wine for them, conversation flowed effortlessly. She shared her story, widowed young, building Langford Tech from her garage while raising Lily, late nights coding with a baby monitor by her side. "It's exhausting," she admitted, her eyes softening, "but worth it." "What about you? The friend said you work hard to maintenance, right?" Daniel nodded, opening up about his double shifts, the pride in his work despite the disdain. "People see the mop, not the man," he said, voice low. Grace leaned in, her expression apathetic. "My father was a custodian, put me through school on back-breaking labor. Those who mock it, they're the small ones." Lily interjected with drawings on a napkin. Stick figures of them ate the table, her giggles lightening the air. Daniel felt a spark of connection, respect, something real amid the farce, until Chad approached, swaggering like he owned the place, beer slashing in his glass. Well, Danny boy, didn't expect you to stick around for the kiddie meal." "Bold move for a floor wiper," his voice carried, drawing eyes. Mark and the others hovered behind, phones out discreetly. "We thought you'd ghost when the Rugrat showed." Guest desperation knows no bounds. Lily's eyes widened in confusion. Grace's jaw tightened. Daniel's blood boiled, fists clenching under the table, his face hot with mortification. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue? Or is it the mommy issues?" The restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's thoughts raced. Stand up, fight back, don't let them win. But Grace beat him to it, rising slightly, her voice cool and cutting. "You must be the brilliant minds behind this setup. How original, humiliating someone for sport. My dad faced bullies like you. It fueled him to succeed. And for the record, Langford Tech, my company, hit $50 million valuation last month. Daniel here has more spine than all of you combined." Whispers spread. Chad's face paled, his smirk crumbling. "Now, kindly leave before I ask the manager to escort you out." Deflated, Chad muttered excuses and retreated, his crew scattering like roaches in light. The manager, overhearing, comped their meal with apologies. Outside, rain pattering on the sidewalk, Grace touched Daniel's arm. "Don't let their poison sink in." "You're impressive, Daniel." Lily tugged his hand. "You're fun. Come over sometime." That night, as he lay in bed, replaying the evening, a resolve hardened. No more invisibility. No more punches taken lying down. The turning point ignited like a match to dry tinder. Daniel quit the warehouse gig, freeing evenings for online business courses, management, marketing, financier. His screen glowing late into the night, eyes burning but spirit alight. Grace became his quiet ally. Coffee meetups turning into dates, her insights sharpening his vision. Start small, focus on what you know. Cleaning, but better. He launched Clean Horizons from his apartment, a service promising eco-friendly products, fair pay for workers, and impeccable results. Initial pitches were nerve-wracking, a voice trembling in empty boardrooms. About twins came, a small office, then a hotel chain. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. Reviews praised the respectful pros who transform spaces. Meanwhile, Chad's crew escalated their pettiness at work. Extra messes, snide comments, but Daniel tuned it out, his focus laser sharp. Clean Horizons expanded, Vans with his logo cruising the city, employees in crisp uniforms he designed. Features in local biz mags highlighted his rags to respect story. Grace's support deepened their bond. Lily called him Uncle Dan, her hugs melting his defenses. The plan crystallized over months. Revenge not through fury, but success. With Grace's network kept secret to avoid bias, Danielle secured loans, grew to multiple states. Then, the coup.